Hello, everybody, and welcome to this IC Markets market commentary. My name is Chloe Edwards from Trade with Precision, and today I want to run a spotlight on a few charts for you, starting off with gold. On the weekly time frame, we can see here that price action is in a downtrend with lower highs and lower lows, and price is currently approaching down towards the 1675 level of support over here. We can see that has been support over the last couple of years. Price hasn't actually been down below this level since 2020. And so as price approaches down to that level, there could be opportunities to the downside, but more interestingly, I'm looking at this level to see whether it will actually break or bounce. If price does manage to break down through that level, then there's a significant distance down to the next major level of support, which would be around 1550 down here. Of course, an alternative view could be that price could bounce at this level, as it has done the past 3 or 4 times it's reached down to that place. And potentially that could lead to a little bit more ranging price action, as we have seen for much of the last couple of years, or it could even lead to a slight uptrend in price action. Moving on to silver. Silver, I've just zoomed out here to show you that the range that I'm focusing on at the moment is this range here between the 18.5 level that has just recently broken to the downside, all the way down to $14. We can see here that from 2014 all the way through to 2020, the price of silver ranged between those two levels, rarely breaking out from those two levels. It then spent from 2020 onwards up above there, but it has now just recently broken back below that 18.5 level, and that's significant potentially because there isn't really a major level of support between where price currently lies and all the way down to this $14 area. So potentially this downtrend could continue, and there could be some reasonably strong opportunities to the downside between where price currently stands and this $14 level. Obviously, there is a little bit of resistance in here potentially, and price is unlikely to make it all the way down to that level without having some pullbacks. And it's those pullbacks that potentially could show promise for short trading. I would initially be looking for a pullback up to this 18.5 level in order to give a reasonable opportunity to the downside there. Moving on to currencies. I'm just going to have a quick look at dollar yen, because dollar yen really remains very bullish indeed. There is an uptrend in place. This is the weekly time frame again here, uptrend in place with higher lows and higher highs, very much based on dollar strength at the moment, as well as yen weakness. Now, there aren't really any previous highs to go on. This is really price action just approaching the most recent previous high around this 139.35 level. Now, on the daily time frame, we can see that a little bit more clearly, that price has actually slowed down slightly on the approach to this level. And really, it's this level here, this previous high, that I'm very much concerned with in terms of waiting to see whether this level can break or whether price is going to bounce at this level and perhaps form a double top and pull back, and we see a small correction. So really it is key for me whether this level breaks, because at the moment with price so close to this previous high, there aren't any trading opportunities that I would be willing to get into while price is just sat below this level. But I do want to be prepared, because if this level breaks, there could be some further potential moves to the upside. And we've seen over the last few months how strong the dollar yen currency pair has moved to the upside. So I would be very, very keen to watch this 139.35 level to see if that can break to the upside. Moving on to pound against the US dollar now. This is very weak indeed. The British pound weakness, along with the US dollar strength, has resulted in a pretty strong downtrend in this particular currency pair. Now, price has broken below the significant 1.2 level, and it's actually heading down to the lows all the way back from 2020. This spike in 2020, these lows down here, price looks to be heading towards that level, and the downtrend is in place on the daily time frame. Also, the MACD and the RSI are looking particularly bearish, and showing that momentum is to the downside still. So really looking for a pullback into the moving averages here in order to see a trend continuation. And I would be expecting that to come at least down to this 1.14 level here, if not further. Moving on to Kiwi Dollar. Kiwi Dollar is also looking particularly weak. Again, in line with the overall dollar strength that we're still seeing at the moment. And Kiwi Dollar is another currency pair that is showing a downtrend on the weekly time frame, downtrend on the daily time frame, and the price action currently running towards this previous low over here. And again, it's whether this previous low can break, in which case that would be a trend continuation. And if that were to be the case, then there is pretty clean air between where price is, or I should say, between this previous low, if price were to break down below this previous low, and the next area of potential support could be down here past the 0.6 level, which could yield some favourable reward to risk opportunities. Even more favourable for me is Aussie Dollar. Aussie Dollar also showing a downtrend. The month has ended fairly bearishly, very bearishly in fact, and there isn't really a horizontal level of support until down at this 0.67 level down here. So in terms of downtrend, I can see that the daily time frame is actually in a downtrend. And what's interesting here is there's a little bit of a chart pattern, a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern, left hand shoulder over here, head up here, right hand shoulder over here, and the neckline potentially could be about to be broken along with this level of potential support over here. And so I'm looking for the downtrend on Aussie dollar to continue as well. The MACD and RSI seem to be agreeing with that and showing bearish momentum. So I'd be looking for potential short opportunities on Aussie dollar also. So the overall picture is of US dollar strength, and basically all of the charts that I've been looking at today have been in support of that US dollar strength idea, and continuing with the strong trends that have resulted. So that's it from me for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope to speak to you again soon.